Source Nation, join us now for the Political Corner with your host, Destiny Hicks, as she brings you the latest highlights from the political arena. Source Nation, here is your host, Destiny Hicks.
Good evening, Source Nation, and welcome back to the Political Corner with me, your host, Destiny Hicks. Tonight I have an amazing show planned for you guys. I know it's been a minute, but I'm back. And before I go any further, please allow me to thank our sponsors who have made this show possible. And you know who they are: Zelina Health, Wellness, and Fitness, Paper Tube Film Productions, Revolution Mills, Renovations, Meet My Type Matchmaking, Blend to Blend Juice Bar Boutique, Urban Grandstand Digital, and New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. As I stated earlier, tonight we have an amazing show planned for you guys. But before I talk any further, we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side, I'll be back to discuss. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, Source Nation. You're listening live to the Political Corner with your host, Destiny Hicks.
Radio Network is just one of the many platforms that is used to fulfill dreams of our listeners and create a purpose that will impact the lives of our communities, cities, and the world. It is often said that great things will happen when a group of driven people work together to accomplish one goal. We're giving people the opportunity to have a voice, translate words that haven't been heard, and paint pictures that no one has seen. Source Radio Network is fueling your life's purpose. How can you listen? www.blogtalkradio.com/Source Radio.
Photographs are a memory that can be cherished for a lifetime. Trying to find a photographer to capture those memories without burning a hole in your pocket can be difficult. Not anymore. Here at Cat Photography, we promise to give you the quality photos that you need while capturing those memories that people love. Specializing in weddings, events, family, and senior photographs and portraits, we'll give you the pictures you'll love while sticking to your budget, while sticking to our promise of affordability and quality. For more information on bookings and prices, give us a call at 336-505-8974, 336-505-8974, or email us at catphotography1@gmail.com, catphotography1@gmail.com. Cat Photography, creating the perfect photographs, memories, and more.
Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to the Political Corner with your host, Destiny Hicks.
Welcome back, Source Nation, and you're listening live to the Political Corner with me, your host, Destiny Hicks. As I stated earlier, we're going to go into deep discussion about a few things tonight, but before I go any further, I hope that you guys had a happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you're planning to have a great Christmas. Just by looking in recent news, you see what's going on in Libya that's really traumatic, and it's kind of hard to accept the fact that slave trade is going on in 2017 and how they're being treated and what's going on in that particular continent of the place where we live. You know, it's just kind of like, you know, though it's not affecting people so much in the U.S., we feel like it's not a problem, but innocent people are being sold. You know, in the U.S., we deal with sex trafficking and, you know, all these different things, and young girls go missing all the time, young men go missing all the time, and we take it lightly as if it's something that we can't get a handle on. Though I know we can't fix the problem. Like one day we just go out and one day just wipe out all the people that sex trafficking. I know we can't do that per se. But I feel like it's a better way that we could approach this thing. Our own local government, our own head chief of our government. I mean, our president doesn't even speak on the fact that we have sex trafficking so high in the U.S. So how can we even expect or set the expectation for him to go out in Libya and, you know, raise awareness to the fact that people are being human trafficked and people are dealing with slave trade and people are getting hung and people are being sold as if they're property and all these different things? How can we expect him to raise awareness to something as such as this when he doesn't even address the fact that we have sex trafficking in our own country? I feel like it's something that's really swept up under the rug. You know, it seems as if our own people try to look over it. You know, it starts small in the family. We see uncle whoever or a granddaddy whoever or stepdad whoever or cousin whoever messing and molesting young girls and their own children or people that's close to them and their family's children, and we sweep it under the rug as if, oh, we're just going to act like it's not there. People have been molesting young children for decades now. This is nothing new under the sun. And so if we let it get this far, don't you think that we could try to implement something that would stop this? It's people that simply urge a young child. Like, they don't even crave people their age. They don't even crave sexual contact with people their age. They'd rather be with a child than someone their age. How disgusting is that? And I'm on this particular topic today because it's really been boiling within me, and it seems like I am the only one in my generation that really wants to raise awareness to such. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I was saying how it seems that millennials are so good at talking things that they don't know how to act out things. I mean, people are so Instagram and Facebook and Twitter famous that they forgot that you have to implement things to be that person that you're talking about being. You can't just say that you're this person and not act on that. I feel like that's the problem with many of us, is that we love to talk a good game and we love to talk about how we can fix the issues and what's your input on this and what's your thoughts on this, but yet we do nothing to implement change within our communities, implement change within our government, implement change within our schools, implement change within our households. We do nothing to do that. We're not breaking down barriers for anybody. We're trying to kick down doors and by our words, but we can't kick down doors by our words. Doors don't come down unless it's an action taken. We talk about voting all the time, and we talk about, rock the vote and Black Lives Matter, and we talk about, stop this, end this. vote here, do this, but yet when have we implemented any sort of change? I wish I was talking to somebody today that really understood the capacity and the commitment and the quality and the persistence that it's going to take to get the change that we want to see. I'm over people talking about how they could do it this way. I'm over people talking about how they should do it this way. I'm over people talking about how it should have been done that way. If you want it to be done and you want it to be done right and you want it to make a change, then you do it yourself if you feel like you have the answer. But if you're just going to talk about it, shut up. I know that seems very rude, but I mean, shut up. If you're not going to bring awareness to something in the sense of making a change and making a difference and bringing to the forefront the issues at hand that you are willing to get on the line to fix, then shut up. If you're not going to do none of that stuff. I'm over people talking. I'm over people seeming so fiery about things, but yet when it comes time to actually make a difference and put your name on a piece of paper and put your name on a dotted line to sacrifice yourself for somebody else's difference and somebody else's change, I am over it. I feel like that's the main problem with most of us is we feel like, it's okay, people have been talking for years. No, people didn't just talk for years. If people were just talking and it made a difference, then we'd have been a hell of a lot farther than we are today. Martin Luther King didn't just talk the dream. He walked the dream. Malcolm X didn't just talk the dream. He walked the dream. Rosa Parks didn't talk the dream. She walked the dream. Harriet Tubman didn't talk the dream, she walked the dream. Booker T. Washington didn't talk the dream, he walked the dream. You sit here and you think that change happens overnight, and that's when you get weary, but change does not happen overnight. It's going to take persistence. When you get off your day job, when you come home and you still have that urge to make a difference every day, even though it seems like your good work and your hard work is going in vain, that means you have some type of commitment to this thing. Even if you don't see the results the first day that you put your foot in this. Even if you don't see the results the first day, the first week, the first month, the first year, the first 2 years, the first 5 years, if you don't see your results then, will you still have a heart to make a difference? That's the type of leadership we need to make differences within this sex trafficking thing and human trafficking thing and in our government. You see, we have a president that's more concerned about football players taking a knee. We have a president that's more concerned about a wall being built because he feels like those people are taking jobs from people in America. We have a president that's more focused on picking and nitpicking on people that are not doing anything to help build a better economy in the U.S. We have a president that likes to nick and nag. Oh, he's mad now about Time magazine because our old president, our past president, Barack Obama, stayed on the front page of Time magazine. Who would want to put somebody as such on the front of the page of a book that stands for something when our president doesn't stand for anything? He stands for things, but it's to hurt people, not to help people. How can you be in a position as such and want to hurt? I feel as if I get fired up about things because I'm tired of seeing things so easily understood by people that's always misunderstood. How is it so easy for you to understand something that makes no sense and you feel like because you said it that it makes sense? I don't know. I don't know if this is where we're going as a country or this is where we're going as a generation, if this is where we're going as new leadership and fresh leadership. Because, I mean, if we really want a fresh leadership, why wouldn't we do it? This particular video, and next Wednesday, I want you guys to look this video. I want you to look the video up this week and next Wednesday I'm going to play it on here. And I want you to see, I want to know your input on it. I want to know how you feel about it. I want to know exactly what's your train of thought when it comes to this video. To me, I thought the video was really good and insightful, but I want you guys to actually listen to the video. Go watch the video, tune into the video, and we're going to discuss this thing next week. And the video is entitled, I'm Not Racist. It's by Joyner Lucas. It's, again, I'm Not Racist by Joyner Lucas. This thing will blow your mind. It's about 6 minutes and 56 seconds, and we're going to dissect this thing next week. I want you guys to stay tuned for that because I promise you it's going to be such an insightful show because this particular video breaks down how both parties feel. On this particular video, it's a Caucasian male, a white male, and a black male acting out these particular parts. Joyner Lucas himself is very good guy when it comes to things as such. So I want you guys to look him up, Joyner Lucas, I'm Not Racist, and we're going to discuss that thing next week so that you guys can really see how politics takes place in race, how politics takes place in the household, how politics takes place in everything. You may think politics doesn't affect most people's lives, but even though you may not want to recognize it, people politic all day long and not even realize they're politicking. I know that it's a phrase that most people just like to use, but we politic all day long and don't even realize we're politicking. And I know that I got off topic real fast, but I want you guys to watch that video, like I said, because next week we're going to really sit down, break it down minute by minute, second by second, and I want to know feedback, actually. We're going to go live, and I want to know feedback as we're listening to it. Call in, let me know how you feel about it, because I thought it was a great video, great demonstration, and so on and so forth. And that brings me back to all the things that's going on in the U.S. right now. We're so quick to claim everything as racist, and we're so quick to claim everything as people nitpicking on certain people. And yes, though everything and certain things may be deemed racist, not everything is. So I think that we have to also learn how to look at situations beyond the racial eye. If every particular person would look at things beyond the racial eye, we would get more done as a country. I think that most congresswomen and congressmen and U.S. Senate and the House and representatives and so on and so forth, we get nothing done because we're too focused on party affiliation. That's why we can't come together for common needs and common grounds and common wants and actually solve them because we're too busy bickering and backering. Y'all remember how I talked about it on the first show I did with you guys about how Senator McCain was talking about let's get back to stop fighting from across the hall and stop fighting from across the aisles and actually coming together and coming up with things that's going to be good for our citizens. Y'all know this is nothing new under the sun. Like I keep saying, we tend to forget. We tend to forget that even though it may be our party that made that decision, or even though it may be our party that decided to get this situated, or our party that decided to fix this, doesn't make us right. Now, I'm not saying I totally agree with Obamacare, but I do know there's some good things about Obamacare. And so if our president took the time to sit down and look at the actual Obamacare plan, you would see that it is some good things about it. And if you took the time, you could understand, okay, well, we can take out what's not good and try to implement things that are good. If we talk about war right now in the U.S. and all the soldiers that we have sent over in the war that we're about to face in North Korea, things could have been handled differently. It's not that I would get into a presidential seat and say I know all the answers, but I do know it takes a lot of listening. Our president particularly doesn't like to listen. He's more a person that feels like he has the answers. And I'm not saying impeach the man, because God knows if we get that vice president in the presidential seat, we're going to have way more problems. But I feel like we have a president in there that doesn't know how to heart for the people. We have a president in there that doesn't know how to lead effectively. We have a president that doesn't know how to effectively communicate. We don't have a president that knows how to make good relationships with people that could help us. This country right now we could have in our bag, but because our president does not know how to particularly, and I'm going to say this the right way, he doesn't know when to shut up. He doesn't know how to effectively shut up. He doesn't know how and when he needs to shut up. He doesn't even know why exactly he should shut up. I mean, it's obvious at this point that he's just like, I don't know. I just don't know the answer to that. That would hurt him to God knows what if he had to give an answer as I don't know. Boy, I mean, that would crush him. I mean, we talk about, like I said, the issues with the people, with him trying to build the wall. Can we talk about that for once? I mean, I know this might sound like a show tonight where I'm bashing our president. I'm not bashing him. It's just some things that I think that should be handled differently with him. Okay. So my first instinct, we talked about slave auctions, slave trade, and human trafficking and sex trafficking within the U.S. and in Libya and so on and so forth, all the things that's going on right now in our particular continent, around the globe, nationally, locally, et cetera, et cetera. We talked about that. But where's our president talked about that? And then we go into the particular situation with building a wall, like I stated. We look at how he has all these reasons to point fingers as to why Americans don't have jobs. And, people might hate me for this one, what I'm about to say next. But it's the Hispanics and the people that are willing to work for lesser than us, getting paid under the table, doing harder labor, and getting paid lesser than us, that's willing to get up at the crack of dawn and work till the sun goes down for lesser than us, that's willing to work. We talk about how Hispanics and Mexicans are coming over here and they're taking all our jobs, and we have people in our household that don't have jobs, but we ride down the street and we see construction workers and all of them are Hispanics, and we look at them and we say, and we could have had our job. No, let's be real. What Hispanic locally that is living in a really good living predicament? Let's be real. They're getting paid lesser. We know that Americans are too, arrogant to work the job that Hispanics would do easily. They came over here to try to run for the things that's going on in their own country. They didn't come over here to try to steal our jobs, because if they were trying to come over here and steal our jobs, they would come over here and go ahead and get their education and exceed the bar placed for them. They would exceed the expectations for that bar that you got there, and they would do the jobs that you have now. But let's be real. If you traded places with Hispanics right now in this day and time, how long would you work being paid under? How long would you work and getting paid less? How long would you work? I'm sick and tired of people talking about Hispanics come over here and they're taking a job. Hispanics come over here and doing that. They're working. They're hard-working people. Give credit where credit is due. Yes, I know every particular country has, laws when it comes into, people coming into our country that, it's barriers and it's some type of rule and law that's implemented. But however, beyond that, they're here now, so why try to send them back now? I don't understand how y'all feel like y'all can just, people have been over here for 30-plus years, long as your children have been here, long as you have been here, long as your grandparents have been over here, and you want to take them out of something they know and send them back to a place they don't even know and tell them they're not American citizens? Come on, man. Because our president says so? Because our president wants to feel like he is the person that can give life and take life? Who is that? I mean, y'all, I could sit here and go on all day long with the issues I have with this man, but what is it going to solve? Because obviously, people say that, that Donald Trump is a result of the anger of the Republican Party that they had. They just was whipped. They didn't want no more Democrats in there. They had Barack Obama for 2 terms, and they were fed up. They didn't care who got in office, but as long as it wasn't a Democrat, and definitely not a black man, and definitely not a female. Y'all went through all of that, and this is what you got. Now you start to step back and regret, oh, my God, did I vote for this man? His own people is turning on him. That sounds like a Malcolm X thing. When he started getting too radical, his own people began to turn against him. Matter of fact, Malcolm X's own team member killed him. That shows you something. When you become too radical, when you become too non-filter-like, and you become too arrogant, you become too cocky, and you become too like nobody can touch you, that's when you lose sight of what you're really there for. A leader doesn't act like they know everything. A leader doesn't always have to say they're the boss. A leader knows they're the boss, but they want to implement other people's ideas and opinions so that way they can know they're impacting all people and not a select group of people. Y'all trying to cut taxes for people that's millionaires and raise taxes on people that's middle class. What sense does that make? Well, people shouldn't have higher taxes when they're making more money. Let the middle class people pay it. Y'all shut up. In what world does that make sense? Come on. Raising taxes on middle class people that's barely making it. We live in a country where minimum wage is $7.25. Come on, people. How can you live off that? People graduating from great schools, Ivy League schools, private schools, magna cum laude, graduating with honors, and yet they graduate and can't even find a job. If they find a job, their job salary doesn't even amount to the student loans they have at hand. Y'all telling me this is the world that we should live in? Kids are going hungry. We talk about people living on Section 8, people getting welfare, all that stuff. Check the welfare system. Check it. It's going to forever be people. It's going to forever be people running over the system. That's not going to change. You can't crack down on that. You could, but you'll be taking everybody to jail. So let's be real, people. Let's understand the magnitude that is necessary to implement change. We can bicker and backer all day about the things that's going on in America that we don't like, but until somebody gets their foot on the ground and start going to those city hall meetings, somebody gets their foot on the ground, start talking to their congressmen, congresswomen, somebody goes gets their foot on the ground, start talking to their representatives, start writing letters, start calling in, start leaving voicemails, start marching for a change. Stop trying to burn down buildings. That's not going to save anything. Stop flipping over cars. Stop having all these things where y'all are fighting people and beating people and all this stuff. Is not going to implement change. Change is not hate. How do you conquer hate? You conquer hate with love. Martin Luther King said that himself. Y'all remember my last show? I said Rosa Parks didn't not give up her seat because she didn't like the bus driver. Rosa Parks didn't give up her seat because she didn't like what the bus companies have been doing for years. Black women, black men had to walk to work because they got on the bus. They had to sit all the way in the back because they were not considered as a higher value as the whiter people on the bus. I don't understand how we can live in a society that's only repeating ourselves and we still don't know how to understand, to get a change. Oh, a change must come, but we have to be willing to fight for change. We have to be willing to get the change. We have to be willing to do everything in our might until a change gets here. We can't expect change to fall in the sky. We can't expect tax cuts and health care and sex trafficking and all these things to stop by talking. Forget the talking. We have all these news outlets. We have all these politically famous social media people that are not doing anything for our country. I mean, we got groups everywhere, organizations everywhere, and they're not doing a darn thing beyond trying to raise money for, a next event, coffee and tea, or sit down and sit with me, or, have this forum where we have, somebody, a nice speaker come in and we have these things and we're outreach and all this stuff. All this outreach stuff, and yet I never seen something that actually got something done. I live in a particular state. South Carolina is a great state, but it's more that we could do. It's more that we could do when it comes to running for office. It's more that we could do. I mean, we had local elections, guys. Local elections. And there's people that's been in seats for 20-plus years that walk right back into their seat again. You know why? Because voter turnout is the lowest of all times. Why won't people vote? Because people feel like their opinions and their votes don't matter. How do we get people to know that their vote matters? How do we encourage people to get out and rock the vote beyond social media? How do we get people to understand that if we come together as one unit, we can get something done? How do we get people to see that we can make a difference? How do we get people to see that a change can come, but it won't fall out of the sky? It's going to take hard work and labor, but at the end of our hard work, there's going to be a reward. What the reward is going to be, we may not see it, but our children and our children's children may be able to reap the benefits of the harvest that we planted. That's what we are. If we don't see the change, and we don't be a part of the change, and we don't take heed to the change, then we will never, ever, 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 ever get there. We have all these political strategists, we have all these political analysts, and we have all these people that do political journals, and we do all this stuff, and yet we're still, history has been repeating itself for decades. Everything that's happening now is nothing new. Sexual assault is this has been happening. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's getting convicted. Oh, okay. I have no remorse for people that sexually assault people and think that that's okay. No. Rape culture, Nothing is, when somebody tells you no, you leave them alone. When somebody says stop, that means you stop. If they're intoxicated, leave them alone. If they don't know what's going on, they don't know where they are, leave them alone. But how can we expect to live in a culture that respects women when we have a president that doesn't even respect himself, his wife, or any other woman? Y'all remember the statement he made? Shove them right up in the, y'all know. Everything that's going on right now that's deemed okay is because of our elected officials and leadership. Y'all know how I feel when it comes to leadership. I tell people all the time, what is it to be a leader when you don't even know not one of your constituents and your citizens' names? What is it to be a leader when you haven't even taken the time to step foot in the community that you lead in? What is it to be a leader when you don't even take the time to take your citizens as people and take heed to the opinions they have? What is it to be a leader when you don't know how to communicate effectively? What is it to be a leader when the only thing that you're driven by is your title? What does it mean to be a leader? Will you stand on the back front just to make sure your people are served right? Will you take that extra step to make sure that your constituents are handled? Will you take that extra step to make sure that people are protected with their funds? First Nation, I just believe that we should all come together, and that's how we could effectively move toward a change. I'm not going to be long tonight, and I'm going to make sure that I wrap this up in a way that doesn't sound like I'm being on one side or the other. But I do know that when it comes to leadership, you have to be a leader in your mindset, in your thinking, in your movement. In anything that you do, leadership follows you. Be careful in how you act upon things without first thinking about the people that's going to affect. Be also cautious when it comes to making laws and rules that's going to hurt people. Not saying that every rule is going to just be all-inclusive, but it could be rules as such. It could be laws as such, and that's where I am when it comes to leadership. And I'm not getting on here to, bash our president, and not here to get on to bash our administration or our current leaders and all that stuff. I'm just saying that we need to have effective leaders and leaders that are caring and more people-driven and not title-driven. That's what we need to be, Source Nation. You know it's me, Destiny, with the Political Corner, and I always leave you guys with some type of encouragement, some type of affirmation. I want you guys to know this. Hold on just a little while longer. I know it seems like our government seems to be getting tougher and tougher every time we look. It seems like our administration don't know what to say, when to say it, how to say it. But I do know this. If you hold on just a little while longer, everything will make sense, and you'll see how you taking a stand really made a difference. I want to encourage you. I have to encourage you every show to make a difference, but to be the voice that you want to hear. To fuel the voices you want to hear. Teach your kids to pay attention to politics beyond the news. I mean, actively boots on the ground, seeing it for yourself. The news reporters also have to make the story more appealing to whatever group they see fit. So I want you guys to understand that, see that we have so many things we need to raise awareness to: sex trafficking, human trafficking, slave trade in Libya right now, tax cuts, tax reform, health care issues, all these things that we need to draw awareness to, how our country seems to be beating a hammer over minority groups right now. We need to raise awareness to those things. DACA is still a problem right now. I want you guys to look at all that stuff, and don't forget about the particular video I told you guys to watch, I'm Not Racist, by Joyner Lucas. That's going to be something that's going to be real. I'm telling you, it's going to fire some of y'all up, and next week we're going to be back to discuss that. So like I said, hold on just a little while longer. Things will get better by and by, but we have to be the by and by to help things get better. I want to encourage you all tonight to keep on loving on your people. Love somebody, love somebody, love somebody, and that's how we're going to affect change. Hate does not implement change. Love does. Commitment does. Persistent does. And I want you all to know I love you. There's nothing that you can do about it. First, I want to also thank our sponsors: Zulina Health, Wellness, and Fitness, Paper Tune Field Productions, Revolution Meals, Renovations, Meet My Type Matchmaking, Blend to Blend Juice Bar Boutique, Urban Grandstand Digital, and New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. Source Nation, meet me back here next week, next Wednesday, for us to discuss I'm Not Racist by Joyner Lucas. And we're going to break that thing down minute by minute. I told you guys I'm excited about next week. I was excited about this week because of all the things that we have going on. We're going to talk about North Korea and all that stuff in the future. We already know North Korea is a problem, but our president is not making it any better. Source Nation, I love you guys. Stay up.
It's your